Over the past 20 years, I've dedicated myself to the sport of diving. I've absolutely loved this diving journey and I'm so thankful for every moment along the way. But at the end of the day, this journey is just a season of my life. It's not who I am, it's just something I do and something I've done for a long time. But with that being said, I'm officially announcing my retirement from the sport of diving. I made this decision to retire a few weeks ago, but I didn't want to share anything until I had a true vision for what this retirement announcement would look like. And so I decided, in true fashion to me, my diving journey and the way I documented this journey from a young age, I thought I'd make a little video.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my first vlog ever! There should have been explosions somewhere in there.
When I first started my diving career, I wasn't focused on the Olympics. I was just a kid who loved doing flips off of high stuff and ended up being pretty good at it. And within a couple years of starting this career, I got a massive opportunity to start training full-time, and that's truly what propelled me into my full-time diving career. I started competing 10 meter at the senior level at the age of 10 or 11, and I was just a kid who at that point was having a lot of fun. From a young age, I became a junior national champion, and that led into me becoming a senior national champion and an Olympic alternate for the 2012 games. And that's really when I started the vlogs and started to document my everyday life, because that was the time in my life where I realized if I keep dedicating myself to this sport, I could make the Olympics next time. And so the vlogs were birthed out of this true realization that I can make the Olympic Games, and I want to document every moment along the way on that journey. Through that process, I documented all the highs, winning national titles, winning international meets, traveling the world, meeting new friends, and I also documented a lot of the lows, failing to qualify for a meet, having poor performances, dealing with injuries, and everything in between. But that's what was so special about those vlogs. Whether it was a good day or bad day, I was dedicated to documenting that process. And that truly taught me to embrace the journey and enjoy the journey for what it was, because I knew someday the journey would end, and I wanted to look back on these memories with fondness. You know, it's really easy to define an entire career by one moment. And for me, a lot of times that's that Olympic silver medal, but I don't see my diving career as just this one peak moment, because there were so many incredible moments before that and so many incredible moments after that. And before that, there were incredibly difficult moments, and after that, there's been incredibly difficult moments. And that's what makes this journey. It's not about that one medal that I won halfway through my diving journey, but it's about the entire story, start to finish.
There you are.
I think so.
So the big question you're probably asking is, why now? Why am I retiring now in the winter of 2024? It's not like a very significant moment right after an Olympics or right after a big competition. Why am I retiring now? And if I'm being honest, I really don't want to be retiring right now. I feel like I have a lot left in the tank. I have so much love for the sport of diving, but my health is just not good. And it's really hard to be so young. You know, I'm only 28. And I feel like if my foot was healthier, I would continue diving for another 4, 8, 12 years, you know, whatever it could be, because physically I feel incredible, but my foot is not doing good. And it's been a tough pill to swallow over the past month that, you know, I've been on this journey with my foot for a decade. It's not been healthy, and I've done everything I can to get it healthy, and it's just gotten worse and worse year over year. Now I'm at a point where I've got to prioritize the longevity of my foot, because, you know, talking with so many surgeons and doctors, having so many surgeries, it's not going to get better. And it's one of those things now I had to make the tough call to make my foot last as long as possible, which is a weird thing to say, but for those of you that haven't been aware over the past really 6 years, 10 years ago, I realized I had a fractured foot. My foot was hurting, got a scan. Scan showed it was fractured, but at that point, it wasn't at a place where I needed surgery. So 2015, 2016, 2017, in the 2018 season, I dove on a fractured foot, qualified for the Olympics on a fractured foot, won an Olympic medal on a fractured foot, won World Cup medals, World Series medals with a damaged foot. So with that first surgery I got back in 2018, that was essentially the beginning of the end of my diving career. I didn't know it at the time, but ended up getting an infection from that surgery that caused a lot of other issues. Ended up getting a second surgery and pulled out of the Olympic trials in 2021 to get the third surgery, and then got a fourth surgery the next year, got a fifth surgery last year in 2023, and now I'm about to go in for a sixth surgery. And at this point, the surgery I'm about to get isn't to fix the foot, but basically just to do anything we can to lessen the amount of pain I feel every day and buy myself time to slow down the overall deterioration of my foot. And that's really why I've got to stop diving, is the high impact activity is doing a lot of damage to my foot. I was able to still dive over the past few months on my foot being the way it is, but with these new scans, knowing what we know now, I want to be able in the future, when I have kids, to be able to run with them and be able to not have an entirely fused foot and ankle, or even worse. And it's tough. I'm back in Colorado Springs to get all the hardware they put in my foot taken out. The hardware that was supposed to help heal my foot ended up not healing it at all. To spend all of my 20s so far in pain, every step I take hurts. But especially the past 4 years, that pain's just been pretty excruciating. I don't even know what it would feel like to not be in pain when I walk. I want to be hopeful that it's going to work and that I'm not going to have pain. But I just don't know if it is going to work. So it's been a tough pill to swallow, knowing that I got to say goodbye to something I love and something I've dedicated my life to over the past 20 years, not because of anything I did, but just because of, that 1 in a million chance that something can go wrong will go wrong. And that happening 5 times now is it's tough. But when I look back at this season of all these foot surgeries and looking at where I'm at now, I'm just every day so thankful I can still walk, so thankful I still have my foot. And it's not easy. It's hard, waking up and the first thing I feel is pain in my foot. Live my entire day and the last thing I feel before I fall asleep is pain in my foot. It's obviously not fun for a season, but for a decade now, it's wearing me down. I feel like when you start this athletic journey with such a big goal of the Olympics, people tell you like, hey, it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be really tough moments along the way. And I experienced that leading up to the Olympics. At the age of 12, I hit my head on 10 meter and almost died. And that almost ended my, not just career, but life, and was able to come back and do that same dive at the Olympics. And it was a really redeeming moment. And that was a really challenging journey. Thinking back on this journey, it's been extremely hard the past, 10 years since the initial part of this foot injury, but really the past 6 years since that first surgery. The fractures, the infections, the non-unions, the displacement, the bone fragments, going through all of that, dealing with pain 24/7. I can still look back on moments in those years that are just so full of joy, so full of thanksgiving, so full of peace. Even in the midst of pain, there was still good. So even though diving is done, and I moved out to California 6 months ago simply to pursue the sport of diving, I'm thankful it brought me out here because this is truly where I feel like I'm meant to be. So even though diving is done, California's home now. So while I wish my career had a different ending, I wish I could have gone to more Olympics, won more medals, done more world championships, traveled the world more, all these things, I'm thankful for everything that I experienced along the way. Because at the end of the day, I've had an insanely successful career, more successful than I ever truly saw from myself at a young age. I had a goal of getting to the Olympics, but never thought I'd win a medal. So being able to make the Olympics in my home pool that I grew up training in, have my name put on the wall with all the names I looked up to every single day from the age of 10, to winning an Olympic medal, to going to world championships, representing Team USA at the Pan American Games, all these things, those moments are what make the journey so special. Not just one moment, but every moment as a collective. It would have been cool to go to more Olympics and do all these other events and get back to the top of Team USA, but at the end of the day, am I okay if I never make the Olympics again? Yeah, I think there's that true notion, and I've truly felt this deep down, that the more you have, the more you want. You know, when you win your first national title, it's exciting, but then you start training for the next one and the next one, and then you look back, you've won more than 10, and you're still looking for that next one, and it never felt like enough. You make your first World Cup or World Championship team, you win a medal, but now you want the next up medal. You make an Olympic team, now you want a medal. You've got the medal, oh, I want gold next time. Is it ever enough? And looking back at the end of my career, I'm now at a place where I can truly say, yeah, it's more than enough. Even if I had spent the same amount of time and accomplished nothing, but still loved doing the sport, it was all worth it. Everything was worth it. Those moments would be worth it. But that being said, there's always going to be that piece of me that wishes I could have done more, but there's not going to be that piece of me that wonders, what if I could have done more? Because I truly have given it everything I have. After every surgery, moving out here, training again, doing a mock competition, I knew I could be competitive with it again. But looking at the scans on my foot, I know it's time. So to everyone that's been on this journey with me, thank you so much. If you've ever watched me dive, thank you. If you've ever come to a meet and seen me dive in person, thank you. If you supported me on my journey to the Olympics or after the Olympics, thank you. To my family, my friends, all the athletic trainers, my coaches, everything, thank you so much for believing in me and cheering me on and being a shoulder to cry on when things didn't go the way I had hoped. I wouldn't be able to do this journey alone. And so I'm forever thankful for everyone I've met along this journey, and to all my friends I've made from diving. I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have spent moments with you. And if you're ever in California, let's catch up. So now going forward, I'm just navigating what life looks like without diving. But the beautiful thing is diving is just something I did. It's not who I am. So this isn't the end of me. This is just the end of one chapter of my life. It wasn't the first chapter, and it's not the last chapter, but it's a beautiful chapter. So while I still navigate this foot injury, it's not like now that I'm retired from diving, my foot's perfectly healthy. No, it's gonna potentially be a lifelong thing that I deal with. Just gotta learn how to take it one day at a time still. And now it's not me taking it one day at a time to try to get back on the boards. It's me taking it one day at a time to you know, try to push off more intense surgeries as far off as possible. I am the man I am today because of the sport of diving. The lessons I've learned over the years are things that will directly impact the rest of my life, and I'm so grateful for all those moments. And now as I just transition into the season where I'm really focusing on the next chapter of my life and making sure my foot is as healthy as it can be for as long as it can be, I'm going to have new lessons to learn, but I know everything I've learned in diving will directly apply to the season of life I'm stepping into. So it's a really tough thing to say goodbye. But I'm just so thankful I got to be a part of it. Because I'd rather experience something so beautiful that it's really hard to say goodbye than experience something that I didn't enjoy that I'm waiting to leave. It's so hard to say goodbye, but it was awesome. And it was so fun. And if I could live my life 1,000 times over, I'd always choose it this way. And so now it's just time to focus on my health and just see what's next. But thank you. It was a fun chapter, but it's on to the next one.